And I will show this to you by going to App View, and there I'll add a new div. I'll come back to the modal later, but I want to start with that. Give it a class of container, and in there, let's just add a regular button. Toggle paragraph could be the text we have on the button. And then I'll add a little paragraph above that button. This is only sometimes visible. And this paragraph should be toggled whenever this button is clicked. Now, you know how that works. We can add a new data property. Para is visible, which initially is false, for example. We can add a new method anywhere in the method's key. Toggle paragraph could be the name. And in that method, we now control this newly added data property. So we set para is visible to what it's currently not, to invert its value. And then we can use para is visible with vif to only sometimes show that paragraph. And the only remaining step now is to wire up this button with a click listener pointing at toggle paragraph. And if we do that, well, we have that paragraph which instantly appears and instantly disappears. Now let's animate both and let's see how Vue helps us there. There is a built-in component which you can wrap around the elements where you want to control the appearance and removal animation with Vue. And that's the transition component. You can wrap the element which should be animated with transition. And of course, you can wrap multiple elements per Vue app and per Vue component. And transition, this built-in component, will then manipulate this wrapped element. Important, transition must only contain one element, one direct child. There is an exception about which I'll talk later, but for the moment, keep in mind that you must only have one direct child in transition. And what does transition do with that wrapped element now? Well, it's this wrapped element which at some point of time is mounted, but which of course in this case also is not mounted initially. It's not always visible on the screen. Transition now adds a couple of CSS utility classes to that element. It adds a enter from class, an enter active class, and an enter to class. And it adds enter from first, enter active at the same time, then it removes from, but enter active stays on the element, and enter to is added right when the animation finishes. And Vue finds out how long that process should take by analyzing these special CSS classes and looking for transitions and animations inside of them to then read the duration from them. So Vue will analyze your CSS code for these special CSS class names, find out the duration, then actually add those CSS classes over the duration, and that in turn will allow you to set different styles during that entering phase of the element. And of course, you have a similar concept for removing elements. So when an element is mounted and now is not mounted anymore, because with vif the condition turns false. Then Vue adds a leave from class and at the same time a leave active class. Then it removes the leave from class and adds a leave to class, and this allows you to animate the removal of elements. And the important thing again is that Vue will analyze the CSS code you write for these classes. It will read the duration of the transitions and animations you define in those classes, and then, and that's the key thing, it will only really remove the element from the DOM once that duration is over. And that's the key difference to the non-Vue behavior. Their elements are instantly added and removed with the transition component, and these special CSS classes Vue will add and look for. Vue is able to tell that an animation is taking place and how long that animation takes, and it then only removes the element once that animation is done. Now that's the theory. Let's see it in practice.